The man who played 164 matches alongside Cristiano Ronaldo. The man who turned him into a goal-scoring machine with 168 goals. The man who made him cry in the locker room, yet still called him the greatest. Jose Mourinho said some very important things about Ronaldo that no one wanted to hear. 3 words the entire soccer world rejected. Today, 3 words that everyone involved in this sport knows are completely true. In the next few minutes, you'll learn exactly what those words are and, more importantly, why it took the world so long to believe him. Before we get to those 3 words, you need to understand what really went on between these 2 men. Because this isn't a simple story. It's the story of the 2 most ambitious, most demanding, and most complex figures in soccer history, sharing the same locker room, the same training field, and the same obsession with winning. Jose Mourinho first saw Ronaldo at Sporting CP when he was still a youngster. He said 4 words to his assistant, "There's Van Basten's son." It wasn't a compliment about his speed. It wasn't a compliment about his technique. It was a comparison to one of the most complete players Europe had ever produced. Mourinho had understood what Ronaldo was from the very beginning. Years later, after winning the Champions League with Inter Milan in 2010, Mourinho arrived at Real Madrid. And there was Ronaldo at that time, the most feared striker in world football. In their first major test, Real Madrid defeated Barcelona 1-0 in the Copa del Rey final. Ronaldo scored the winning goal with a header. Mourinho raised his fist in the air. For a brief moment it looked like the perfect partnership in football. The 2011-12 season was statistically the most dominant in Real Madrid's history. Under Mourinho, the team scored 121 goals in the league. They finished the season with 100 points, a record that still stands. And at the heart of it all was Ronaldo. 46 goals in 38 league matches. Such an extraordinary figure that people still struggle to process it. 168 goals in 164 matches under Mourinho. Not a single match where he failed to score. Not a single easy season. Pure, relentless, mechanical production. But Mourinho was looking at something else. While the world was counting goals, he was watching what happened when Real Madrid didn't have the ball. He was watching Ronaldo's contribution to defense. Or rather, the lack thereof. In the Copa del Rey match against Valencia, Ronaldo scored a hat-trick and ran 50 meters to the bench to celebrate with fitness coach Rui Faria. Mourinho stepped in. The embrace was awkward. It felt forced. And 2 weeks later in the locker room, in front of all his teammates, Mourinho publicly criticized Ronaldo for not running back on a corner kick. That was when their relationship began to crack. And that was also the moment Mourinho first uttered those 3 words. Luka Modric was in that locker room. Later, when he described the incident in detail, he said, and these are his exact words, "I saw him make Cristiano Ronaldo cry in the locker room." A man who gives his all on the field because he had once marked the opposing fullback. He also mentioned that Ronaldo said, "I'm doing my best, but he keeps criticizing me." But Mourinho didn't stop. He kept going, in front of everyone, because Mourinho had already made up his mind. No player, not even the best in the world, can be bigger than the system. And the 3 words Mourinho said about Ronaldo, those 3 words, that defined their entire relationship, explaining every conflict, every tension, every confrontation were not an insult. They were a diagnosis. He said, "He can't defend," 3 words. And the football world exploded. How could Mourinho criticize Ronaldo? He scores 46 goals in a season, and you want him to run back. That was the reaction. Everyone defended Ronaldo. Everyone rejected Mourinho. No one listened. Let us know in the comments if you think Mourinho was right. Mourinho left Real Madrid in the summer of 2013. Real Madrid won La Decima under Ancelotti in 2014. And the story was clear. The problem was Mourinho. But there was a truth that no one spoke of at the time. Every Real Madrid team after Mourinho was built around a specific defensive directive, supporting Ronaldo. The fullbacks pushed higher up the field. When Ronaldo had the ball, the midfield dropped deeper. The tactical setup, was constantly adjusted to account for a player's decision not to defend. Mourinho had established the same system, but he was the only manager to say it out loud. All other managers quietly went along with it. Perhaps they should have achieved true success by speaking up to the players. As the years passed, as tactical analysis became more sophisticated and data began to shape football discussions, the numbers started telling a very clear story. Ronaldo's defensive contribution was among the lowest among elite-level wingers. This wasn't due to a lack of physical ability. As Mourinho said in 2012, Ronaldo had decided that the coach couldn't improve him. He had decided he knew it all. And for a decade, the world told him he was wrong because of those words. In an interview that most people miss, Mourinho said something extraordinary. He said, "Ronaldo was the most professional player I've ever coached, and he was the best thing that ever happened to me in my career. The man who made him cry in the locker room. The man who told the public that he couldn't defend. The man whom the world decided was Ronaldo's enemy." Mourinho described him as the best thing that ever happened to him in his professional life, because Mourinho had understood something that took the rest of the world years to grasp. Criticizing Ronaldo's defense was never an attack on Ronaldo. It was the highest form of respect. He simply wanted to bring out the best in Ronaldo, the best parts of him that could be even better. You only push those who can handle it, and Ronaldo handled it, and in return, he scored 168 goals. Mourinho later said, "He's the best in the world, yes, probably the greatest of all time." 3 words as criticism, and 3 words as the greatest compliment. Both came from exactly the same place. Now I ask you again, what did Mourinho really want from Ronaldo? In 2012, Jose Mourinho said 3 words about Cristiano Ronaldo: "He doesn't defend." The world laughed. The world defended Ronaldo. The world thought Mourinho was jealous, bitter, and wrong. But the numbers, the passing years, the analyses, and ultimately every soccer expert in the world confirmed it. Mourinho was right, not because Ronaldo was weak, because even the greatest player of all time possessed something that a great manager could see, but the rest of the world refused to acknowledge. Mourinho saw it from day one. He spoke up, and he paid the price for being honest. But being right and being believed are the rarest things in soccer. And in the end, even Ronaldo admitted it. He said, "Why not? I don't hold a grudge. I'd work with him again." 2 men, 2 perfectionists, 1 truth, and 3 words that sum it all up. He doesn't defend. Tell me, who in football today says something no one wants to hear? Leave a comment and subscribe, because next week there's another name. I'll be back with another piece of football history.